Now, we don't have a sign up tonight, so I'm just going to ask at the end for folks that want to be in the lightning round just to come up to the front and be a part of the lightning round. The lightning round just gives you a quick little, couple minutes just to pitch your stuff, ask if you need help with something or whatever it is you want to do. So that's the point of the lightning round. So I want to welcome everyone. My name is Scott Lipton, and I want to introduce Stephanie Serta, who's one of the co-founders of EdTech Austin. Sean Duffy, who's the other co-founder, is actually out of town on business, and it's very sad. This is, well, we'll say it's his second missed meetup for business, but really since the last one was on a Saturday night and it wasn't quite a meetup, this is really the first time he hasn't been here and hasn't been in the front here. So I know I'm not quite as cool as Sean, but I'll do my best. So I do want to thank our sponsors for tonight, as always, Capital Factory, for allowing us to use this awesome space. Startup Weekend, which really helped us a lot with our event, and Pearson, which is the folks that buy us food and drink, which is really cool, and they're always looking for, I promise Sean, I'd say, they're always looking for good talent. So again, lightning round, don't forget to sign up for the lightning round. And then tonight's agenda, and since they asked me to present, I am a shameless self-promoter, so I'm co-opting the beginning of this meetup to talk a little bit about what this amazing third largest education meetup group in this 900 strong community has given us in Austin to start out with, and that's going to be EdTech Action. I'll tell you a little about that in a second, and then we'll be going through the Startup Weekend EDU, our 2014 Austin winners. Then Teaching Together, as I said, Penthouse Schools will have a lightning round, and of course we always like to leave time at the end for networking. There is, as you all see, there's food in the back, and there's drinks. There's recycling containers out in the back. Folks that are outside, we got plenty extra seats, so you don't have to stand outside tonight. We got the big room. So if you want to grab a chair, you can pull it wherever you want. Don't be shy. But we do encourage you to network. That's what this is all about, this whole social thing. So this amazing group has given us the opportunity to start something pretty amazing here in Austin. So just about a month and a half ago, we started a new initiative here called EdTech Action. And what EdTech Action is, it's a collaboration with Capital Factory to start an EdTech Incubator right here in Austin, right here at Capital Factory. We're really excited about it, growing companies here, growing EdTech companies, and building that. So let me just take you through real quick kind of what we're about and why we're doing this. So education it's kind of a mess right now. There's things that are not happening, and we need some changes. This is our old sort of model of kind of where education came from, and we have things were modeled after our little industrial things. So classrooms look like this, much like our industries, and frankly, even with technology, sadly, things haven't changed very much. Right, so we're still just sitting there now, and instead of little books, we're using iPads. So we're meaning to sort of completely destroy the old paradigm and really transform education through technology. Okay, and we believe that this can happen, or we wouldn't be here. And so schools need to sort of change in the way they look, in the way they operate, new kinds of learning spaces. And this is happening, but it's not happening fast enough, and it's not happening wide enough. So we've started this collaborative with Capital Factory to work with companies, and we're actually working with companies everywhere, not exclusively at Capital Factory, but we'll be housed here. And we're going to be starting our first incubator and accelerator classes here at Capital Factory. We're hoping to break ground on this. We're recruiting right now, so if you are a startup or if you know a startup, either here or anywhere in the world, we want them here at Capital Factory. And basically what our model is obviously it starts with EdTech Austin and the networking and our education events, and that's our meet component, that's the meetup component, right? So we want to connect people, we want to connect. And so we have the Capital Factory Incubator will be located on the 5th floor, which is getting redesigned right now. So Capital Factory has now taken over 2 floors of this building. The larger plan is also to build a classroom and auditorium space on the 1st floor. So this is going to be a pretty amazing facility for doing all sorts of interesting events, mini conferences, all sorts of stuff. So part of our incubator is also offering all kinds of services to startups, mentors, customer acquisition strategies, access through our huge network to customers, sales, marketing, product development. So we're really excited about doing that. And then finally, to implement, to actually get people into schools, offering professional development. We're working with South by Southwest EDU to be able to offer events throughout the year around education. We have a great advisory board, great mentors. Our website's nearly up, our package is nearly complete, and we're hoping that this month, or certainly by October, we're gonna have this going. Our next big event, our first big event, is we're actually gonna be hosting an education policy summit here at Capital Factory on November 3rd, the night before the election. And we're gonna be inviting all sorts of stakeholders and interested parties to actually do what our name says, EdTech Action, take action around some policy issues, so make some things happen. So this first one's gonna be around what we believe is the new economic imperative here in Texas, which is access and engagement to computer science education in Texas schools. Right now, about 1.7% of Texas students actually take a computer science course, and yet about 20% of good jobs here in Texas require a computer science background. So there's a major imbalance. We're importing, if you're new to Austin, thank you, welcome, we love you here, but we're importing too many people to Austin, and we're not growing enough of our own here, both from outside of the state as well as outside of the country. And I love people keep coming. There's plenty of room for everyone, but we're not offering enough within the state to really grow industry and fill needs that are there. And that's really the big thing that's stopping our startups from growing here, is there's just not enough talent. Okay, and so we need to grow that talent. We're really excited about that. So the next meetup in October, I guess it's October 22nd, will actually be around this topic to get this group engaged to feed the political and the business and the economic and the education stakeholders that are going to be at that policy summit your ideas that they're going to be taking action on. And we've gotten commitments, from school districts to actually enact some of the things that we come out with. And so I'm really excited about that. And so really we mean to make connections, and that's what we're all here tonight to do. Ultimately, we want to transform education, improve teaching and learning for everyone. We want to grow the EdTech ecosystem really around Austin, and ultimately make Austin the center of the EdTech universe, okay, right here. It's not happening anywhere, no one's offering anything like this, and we know we can do it. So thank you all very much for being here. Enough of my plug for EdTech Action. We hope if you want more information, come and see me afterwards. I work here at a Capital Factory, and I'm happy to meet with anyone to tell you more or help a startup, and let's get this thing going, and let's really make this the center here. So our first thing on the agenda, after what I co-opted, is our Startup Weekend education, folks, and I just want to kind of start with a quick little
When you come to events like this, you see all of these interesting people taking the latest technology and trying to apply it in a very disruptive way in the classroom and in education.
Developers are entrepreneurs, and designers are entrepreneurs, and educators are entrepreneurs. We also just look to anybody who wants to make a difference. Those are the people that...
I'm going to pull up the YouTube link real quick. I'm sorry about that, because PowerPoint sucks, and so I'm sorry I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation at all. So.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. I should have just stuck with your link, Steph. Sorry. And I never listen. It's my big problem. I've always been that way. Let's try this. Maybe it's Apple.
When you come to events like this, you see all of these interesting people taking the latest technology and trying to apply it in a very disruptive way in the classroom and in education.
Developers are entrepreneurs, and designers are entrepreneurs, and educators are entrepreneurs. We also just look to anybody who wants to make a difference. Those are the people that I feel really make this weekend what it is.
I knew that I wanted to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone.
What's interesting to me is that there's a weekend that links all of the people that you really need. It was super, super helpful.
I was really impressed by the number and quality of ideas at the outset.
Just from a business perspective, it's an enormous market. There's tons of students that need to learn things. There's tons of teachers that teach things. There are tons of skills that are not as developed in our society as we need them to be.
My particular passion is technology as a set of tools that can help make the human moments more precious in education.
What the teams are competing for are back-end services, credits to having domain hosting, a featured exhibit at Thinkery Austin. We have Maker Square, who are offering scholarships to the winning teams. The prize for winning this event for these startups is essentially support services for that startup to grow and flourish and become the next big thing in education.
I'd love to see startups that have an idea that doesn't just help make education a little bit better, but actually solves a concrete problem, the kind of problem that will allow them to gain traction and adoption rapidly. For me, what I was looking for was ideas that actually understood whether they were a migraine, and people actually paid for it, versus a headache. Yeah, it's an important problem, but not really worth money. And then how far had they taken that to solving it and getting a minimum viable product that they could actually show that there was something there for a user to get?
Now that the pitch is done, it's a big relief.
This definitely was highly valuable. It taught me essential skills. It taught me new knowledge. It had me network with people who were knowledgeable in different skill sets.
Great to know that there's this much enthusiasm around solving challenges in education. Without the integration of technology, we're doing students a disservice by calling it education, because if it doesn't have technology, then it's not a full picture.
So awesome special effects on that video. Thank you. That was on purpose. That was really just to keep you all on your toes. So that kind of just gave you a quick little choppy overview of what that whole event was like. Now we don't want to see that horrible video again. So our three winners are here tonight, and they're here to present a little bit of a pitch to y'all about kind of what came out of that weekend. It was a really amazing weekend. A bunch of people came together, hadn't met before, with an idea, and then grabbed teams together in one weekend, created some pretty amazing products. And so we're going to feature three of them tonight. The three different folks we have here is Book Around, Onboard, and 401 Kids. And so we're going to start with Book Around. If you guys want to come on up and present what you all came up with and what you've done with it since. This happened in July. So it's pretty amazing what these folks have done that weekend and what they've been doing since. And we're really hoping that they're going to be part of our EdTech Action Incubator group when we get started here in a few months. Yeah. Airplay yourself through if you want, or
It should be.
Look myself. Connectors are. Plug yourself in.
Right there. Yep. Give us just a sec as we get this set up.
I think you need to change the input on the switch, not on the TV.
I was on the switch.
There's a switch behind the TV. Like it's got blue lights on it. It's on that shelf behind the TV. Yeah, it's on the shelf.
Thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing? Doing well tonight? Good. We're excited to be here and share a book around with you guys. We worked really hard, like Sky introduced, during the Startup Weekend EDU, and we've continued to develop our platform over the last couple months. And it's nice to kind of have a casual setting to present it to some folks and get some feedback and hopefully some interested partners to join us on the Book Around team moving forward. So we'll just go ahead and get started while we're getting some of these technical formalities in place. But my name is Mark Danforth, and I pitched the idea of Book Around, and one of the co-founders of Book Around. Oh, here we go, perfect. And the team leader. My background is in education. I was an elementary school teacher in Oakland, California for 5 years, teaching kindergarten and then later third grade. And here's the book around team, and I encourage you guys to get to know us throughout the meeting during the lightning round at the end here. But as educators, we realized there were a couple of problems facing our students, specifically our younger learners. Students were entering in kindergarten being super enthusiastic about reading, but by the time they were leaving in 4th and 5th grade, their motivation around reading had plateaued, as well as their progress and development as young readers. Another problem that we noticed was that as more and more technology is entering classrooms, as Scott illustrated during his PowerPoint, technology is being utilized, but it is isolating learners. And instead of just putting students in front of books, we're now putting them in front of tablets or Chromebooks or netbooks. And so instead of taking a very social environment, we're making it very isolating through technology. So with Book Around, we are attempting to solve a couple of these problems. On the left is an existing platform that is a lot of educators in the room might recognize. That is a reading comprehension tool. It is another assessment, and that's exactly what students see it as. It is very text heavy, and it provides quantitative data to educators that they then use to generate corrective instruction around literacy and reading. It is not super exciting to students. The big motivating factor is that they can pass a test. On the right, we have Book Around. It's designed with the students in mind, so we have a colorful, kid-friendly interface. And what makes us different is, as opposed to having a quantified multiple choice assessment format, we're asking students to submit their, or to demonstrate their reading comprehension through short video book recommendations, which we're gonna get the chance to see in a few minutes. And the students then recommend those books to their classmates or schoolmates. So let's take a look at the Book Around platform. If you go to the Book Around platform right now, it's at bookaround.co or thebookaround.com. We're under construction and we're coming soon. We're hoping to launch in spring 2015, but I encourage you all to check it out. We have a fill box at the bottom of our page where you can sign up to receive updates about our platform and potentially participate in our beta test. Next tab. And this is the Book Around platform itself. I'm going to walk you guys through the student portal and then the parent portal real fast. So students log in, and the first thing they see are video book recommendations. They have, just like when we check our email, they have new recommendations being filtered to them from their classmates. Students are motivating students to learn. Students click on the Recommend tab, and if you can refresh it one more time. As they are submitting a recommendation, they enter the book title, they pick an emoticon to rate the book, then they can select which of their friends they would like to send the book recommendation to. You're going to see a lot of autofill boxes in the platform, as we expect that this will make it even more accessible to our kindergarten and first grade learners. They can also submit it to the whole class. The Find tab. Once the students recommended the book, they can go ahead and find a new book. There will be recommendations filtered to the top based on their peers who are recommending those books. They can also select genres, and we have a searchable database. We type in Junie B. Jones, where students can go ahead and search an API that has descriptions of books that they can go ahead and add to their bookshelf. Go ahead and click on bookshelf. Once students have selected books, they can demonstrate what they are reading, what they want to read, what they have read. They can watch video book recommendations that are created by students in their social networks that can help motivate those students to read. Just go ahead and click on one of those. We could preview this, but we'll take a look at the profile at this point. And finally, it's gamified. So the more activity a student has on the site, they're earning avatars, as well as awards that demonstrate that they are participating in the platform, generating book recommendations, as well as commenting on their friends' and classmates' recommendations. In the parent portal, when a parent logs in, they can filter through multiple students, assuming that a parent occasionally will have more than one student participating on the platform. They are given analytics around how often their students are generating book recommendations. So we wanted to make this very accessible to parents as well. One of the factors that impacts motivation around elementary literacy is that there's just not a culture around literacy. Parents are having a tough time finding books that are at the independent reading level, as well as interest level of their students, so the parent portal was very important to us. The parents can also access the same bookshelf that students are looking at so that they can go and find and locate the books that their students are interested in reading via online retailers or their local library. You just click on the book around tab right up here. Parents. But I don't want to take up too much time. If you guys are interested in learning more about Book Around, we'll be available to talk, and we can continue to walk through the platform following the presentation. But in the meantime, can we go back to the PowerPoint? Cool. So Book Around is coming in spring 2015. If you're interested in joining the Book Around team, we are looking for parents who have students in the 5 through 12 age range to get involved with Book Around, start submitting book recommendations, and using social communities to motivate literacy. We're also looking for our teachers or school administrators who are interested in potentially participating in our beta test as well. And finally, we have a couple great programmers on our team, but if you are experienced with Python or Django and interested in helping develop our platform, you can find us on the website, email us at hello@bookaround.co, or we are on Twitter and Facebook at The Book Around. So thanks, guys, and look forward to chatting with you following the presentations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. One of our amazing companies that came out of Startup Weekend Education this summer. Our next group is going to be Onboard. If you guys want to come up and get set up. So feel free to chat and mingle while they're getting set up. No problem with that. Grab another drink, food. Give it a second. It seems to just take a minute here to
Make sure it works.
It's got to really go through the wire and think and process.
I think it.
There we go. All right, I think we're ready for the next one. Thanks.
So about 2 months ago at Startup Weekend Education, I pitched a very fuzzy idea to a group of about 100 entrepreneurial individuals. My name is Jess Powers, and I'm part of Onboard EDU, which started as the result of that fuzzy idea and a really long weekend of collaboration. Onboard EDU is a private marketplace that connects educators with real-world projects for their students. You see, during Startup Weekend, we identified a significant need in higher education. University educators want their students to apply what they're learning in a meaningful way. But in order to provide their students with real-world projects, they either have to spend dozens of hours per class per semester identifying existing projects in the community, or spending those same amount of hours developing projects on their own. At the same time, university students are graduating and they're having a really hard time entering the workforce, in large part due to lack of professional experience. Outside of the university setting, businesses and small businesses and nonprofits have a ton of need. They have a lot of projects they need to get done, but they don't have nearly enough funding or resources to do it themselves. That's where Onboard EDU comes in. Our solution is a digital marketplace that connects the educators with small businesses and nonprofits. Businesses and nonprofits can list their project needs, and educators can go in and select relevant projects for their students that are authentic, and they didn't have to spend those dozens of hours per class developing or finding them. Since Startup Weekend Education, the Onboard team has met twice each week to refine our product. We've been focusing on, we've been doing a lot of work on the website, And we've continued doing market research to make sure our product reflects the need for both educators and small businesses and nonprofits. We put together a formal questionnaire for these two audiences so that we can do phone interviews and in-person interviews to gather the information we need. We use, like I said, we work extensively on the website. Additionally, we are in the initial stages of deciding where to beta and how our beta will work. So what we need now is you guys. If you know anyone in higher education, we'd love to talk to them and get feedback on our product. In addition, we'd like to talk to small businesses to discuss how this would work best for them. We also need advisors who'd be interested in helping us or being on our advisory board. Developers and designers are more than welcome as well. Onboard has gone through multiple iterations so far, and we're just beginning. We look forward to the journey ahead.
Thanks. Another amazing project. And again, all of these projects we really hope will get the support of this group. And so please speak with them if you're interested, if you know people, if you want to get involved. That's what this is all about, is our community helping to develop this stuff. And Austin's an amazing community for that type of stuff. So finally, our big winners from the startup weekend is going to be our final presenters here, and that's going to be 401 Kids. So if you guys would come up and get set up, and y'all can present next. And they brought their roadies.
Can we switch it back to the AirPlay?
It's on.
Oh, it is great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Or it should be. No?
Let's see. All right, great. Hello, my name is Krista Clark. I am the co-founder and CEO of 401 Kids, and this is my beautiful co-founder and CTO, Oriana. We had the pleasure of winning the Startup Weekend competition, and since then we've been building out an app and website for our 401 Kids with the intention of creating a world where our children don't have to grow up and enter into the debt cycle like so many Americans are suffering right now. Currently, there's over $1 trillion of outstanding student debt in the US and a striking $11 trillion of debt for the average, in America at all. That's a lot. And we want to start working on apps that can really help kids from an early age start to get familiar with money and budgeting and learning how to save money. The thing that we all love but don't really know that much about. We interviewed about 100 parents and asked them what they needed. And a lot of them told us, over 90%, that they thought financial education was really important. They want their kids to know how to save and budget. However, only a third of them had resources for that. And only half of that third, 15%, had an app or a tool to support them and teaching their kids about money when they don't really know about it themselves. So taking this information, we are working on an app that can help any parent learn how to talk to their kids about money. What's missing is we need to build financial habits and start talking about money. A lot of kids, we talk to kids as well, and they don't know what their parents make. They don't know how to pay taxes. And these are kids that are gonna go off to college soon and be on their own, and they don't know what to do with their income. So what we offer with our app is anyone can learn how to save and budget, even the parents, as well as math and goal setting skills. And, just increase self-confidence, knowing that you're great with money and there's an abundance of it and you can always make more. It's not another thing you have to worry about. So I'm gonna do a little demo over beta, and hang tight, we just finished it today. So we're gonna log in as, Krista. We're gonna say I'm the mama. Krista@gmail.
Is it capital C or?
Okay.
Sorry about that.
We're in progress, and this is just, the first version of our beta. It will be available for anyone who wants to test it out and try it out on their kids on Friday. So, if you want to come and talk to us afterwards and give us your email, we can get you hooked up with a beta of your own. So here I am, the parent just logged in, and my son Ryan, let's see, he's already been doing some chores. He logged in his chores, and I can choose to accept or reject if it's phony. And the actual app will have a photo sharing feature where he can take a picture of the chore. That is time-stamped, so we know that he actually did it.
Yeah. I will accept the first one and then reject the second one.
He's a liar. All right, and now we can, go over to users and edit our information, set up your child's account, set up goals that they might want to save towards, chores, and how much money they're going to get for each chore or activity, whether it's doing the laundry or getting good grades, whatever you want, whatever their parent wants to incentivize their kids with. And then as well as rewards, what they want to do with their money. Do they want to save it towards something like an iPad, or maybe they want to spend it on an extra hour of TV or video games? Hopefully we can start to mold, parent-child's relationship about talking about money and earning money. Even though it's just doing chores, this is some children's first experience of a job. So yeah, now that we've updated all of our information, let's check out the child's app. Rihanna at Gmail. And then 1, 2, 3. It's a little picky. And so, the child will get their own login that the parent can create, and it can be an email address or just their own name. And the parent is the super user, so they'll be able to create accounts for all of their children and other parents. So, maybe if parents are divorced, or maybe if the grandparents want to participate in chores as well, they can. So it looks like Ryan's been watering the plants and mowing the lawn. And so, up here you can see how much money he's been making from that. And then down here is a little summary of his spendings. So, he can go see, oh wow, I saved $9 this week, but I spent 10 on the internet when I could have been saving towards my iPad. And hopefully start to have children piece together the value of, I spent money on this, watching TV, which was great in the meantime, but, maybe I want to save towards a larger goal. Yeah. So I just did the dishes and I want to log that. And hit dishes.
Yes, I did the dishes.
And then you can go back, and then...
So you want me to go to the parents view, or?
No, go back to the screen, and then go to savings. Spending at the present.
Okay.
And then they can say what they want to do with their money, and this will pull up a transaction history on the parent's account. So, every time I do it, the parent will then have to okay the transaction, and then they can see, wow, I owe my kid $20 throughout the store, or keep track of what they're promising their kid for their allowance. And in the next generation of our app, hopefully by the time we're in the App Store, parents will be able to use real money and do automatic transfers of money. So once they okay that the chore was done, bam, automatic transfer, and the kid can use the money as they please, giving them a lot more responsibility and ownership over their allowance at a young of age as the parent thinks they're ready for.
So I will save some money right now.
Saving money, because saving's great.
So my goal.
And it's great because we'll drop little reports of where the money goes, and the kids can see what they're doing. We can exit now.
Yeah, and also let's log in into the parents' view so they can see the transaction IDs.
So, come talk to us later and ask us about our beta. I really appreciate you. Oops. Okay. Maybe. I appreciate your time, and feel free to follow us on social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, check out our website, and yeah, have a great night.
All right, so a big round of applause for all three of our winners. That was really awesome. Amazing stuff that has happened, that can happen, that'll continue to happen here. We're going to take about maybe a 5 to 10 minute break here, so grab something to eat, move around. The AC has been turned on, so please don't leave. It's not going to stay hot in here, I promise. And then we have our second part of our showcase. Oh, standing right beneath the speaker. With our app showcase coming right up. So thanks a lot for being here, and thanks to our winners. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started and get a little more action going in here. So there's going to be plenty more time for networking at the end of the meetup. That's a very important part of what we do here, is getting people to connect, talk to each other, exchange cards, exchange ideas. So we have a couple of different showcases of some apps and some new stuff that's around here. And we're going to be I'll give you this. And we'll be starting with Hannah, who's from Teaching Together, and I'll let her introduce herself. She's going to be doing a little bit of showcase of some apps and from a different educational perspective.
I just wanted to see, this one sounds a little better, I think.
Well, it's because you sound better.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. So actually, I know you just sat down, but I'm actually going to ask you to get up again. And we're going to do a little bit of moving around. We're going to play four corners. I'm a teacher. And so what I want you to do is I want you to pick a corner that best describes you. They are marked off with Post-its. So if you know nothing about special education, then you can go to corner A. If you know a little, corner B over there. If you know enough, corner C is right here. And if you know a lot about special education, you can go to corner D. And you can go ahead and move. You have about 30 seconds. Yes, sorry, they are marked, but A, far corner, B, C, D. It's okay to repeat directions more than one time.
Small world, what a small world. That is the best. I think that is the best.
Okay, so you have pretty much situated yourself, and our groups are fairly even. We have a lot of people actually in corner A, and then we have a few people actually in corner D, the experts, and then we have a lot, they're pretty much even. I wanted to do this exercise first to show you that this is how special education used to look and how a lot of people still think special education looks today. Separate groups based on knowledge, ability, you're going to learn separately. The people who don't know a whole lot are going to be over there. The people who know a whole lot are going to be over here. You're going to get different teachers, different curriculum, and the expectations are going to be different. What I want you to do now is within your groups, go ahead and count off 1 to 4. So, for example, this group here, maybe you can start and you'll be a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 within your groups. And then you're going to get yourself into a new group. If you're a 1, corner A, sir, if you could look behind you, corner A, if you lift off the first Post-it, it will reveal a new Post-it. And it will now be number. So then you would move to a different group. It would be 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Okay, so count off and then move to your new group.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Good working together. How's it going? Good.
I don't know. I'm confused,
All right, so now you're in some new groups. They were pretty homogenous, and now they're not. Now they're pretty mixed up. You're with some people from corner A, you're with some people in corner D, corner C, corner B. It's all mixed up, and you're learning together. And actually, a lot of classrooms like this look like this today. That's called, what a lot of people like to say is inclusion. However, so just so you know, that's how a lot of special education classes look today. Sometimes there's one teacher, sometimes there's two, but there's gonna be lots of different learners in that classroom. However, a lot of times, the instruction is still the same. So now you have groups of mixed ability or mixed, and I don't want to just say ability, mixed backgrounds, mixed means of accessing what you're trying to teach is really what it's all about. However, a lot of times, the assignments are still the same no matter what, teaching to the middle. So if I asked you guys as a group to proficiently answer these questions right now on the spot, what is the best argument for applying universal design concepts to technology development, and what are the top 3 accessibility features you find most useful for promoting inclusion? Who here could answer that right now? Some could, but a lot couldn't. I haven't really done anything to help get you there. I'm not going to ask you to do that. That's not a good assignment. Instead, all I want you to do right now is I want you to caption this image with your group. So I'm going to pass around some markers and some sentence strips. And what I want you to do is talk with your group, and you're going to write just on the sentence strip a caption for this. Okay, go ahead. I love that word, and you should use it. Scaffolding. Yes. It's actually a good term. Yeah. Yeah. Scaffolding.
I don't have good handwriting. No. That's what originally it's just like the universal streamline, you know, for the students that are left. I'm not writing it down.
So go ahead, take another couple, maybe a minute or so, keep discussing it with your group, and then pick out a scribe that can go ahead and write the caption, and then pick out the person in your group who's going to be the speaker, who's going to share out the caption.
So what have we decided? Just that one word?
I mean,
caption?
We could use. I mean, you could.
So there's a long description, or we could do a short form description of that. Right?
Yeah.
Is it both images? Is it both images or one image?
It's one. It's like a comic strip.
Or is it a comic strip?
This is one image altogether. Consider it to be one thing, yes.
Oh, yeah. We want to pay attention.
There is a difference.
I didn't even look at it.
Putting them all up together.
If you don't feel like writing it and if you just want to say it, that's fine with me too.
Helps youngest son see the game. There's an extra box. No? You guys don't like it? Better than silence?
All right, do you guys want to share what you have? Okay, we're just going to pass the mic and share. Oh wait, you have it.
Yes, you should.
And it's a great one. Okay, so over here. Hey guys, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Okay, over here we have a caption and it is fair versus equal. Very interesting. What over here is equal? Is it the left or the right equal?
We had some discussion about that. We had different views on which one was what was more fair, which one was more equal. And so we just decided to go fair versus equal because I think we both came up with the same idea basically, which is that the child who was getting the 2 boxes was getting an accommodation to be able to see the game, and we couldn't really define it in quite the right terms, but we all got the point. So we got fair versus equal.
I couldn't have asked for anything better. Does anyone else want to share what their group came up with?
Well, we can kind of build on that. We said quality is not everyone getting the same, it's everyone getting what they need. So it's kind of a continuation of that.
She wrote it. Oh no, she wrote it, but she said it. Equality is not equal.
Awesome. And then over here?
We were talking about how it is scaffolding and it's there we go. And so it's whoever has the advantage, they don't need as much help seeing the game, whereas when you have less help, the less you know to begin with, or less you can see to begin with, the more help you need. So scaffolding was our word.
Awesome. So my caption for this image, and actually this image is usually captioned fair isn't always equal, equal isn't always fair. So look at you guys in the crowd right now. You're actually using some really progressive and really important and personally I feel very passionate about what you're talking about right now, thoughts about special education. And so my caption is actually, for this would be technology is a great equalizer. So, and if you'll notice that, right, everyone here is getting the same thing, but it's not fair. And over here, everyone can access the same thing, even though they're each getting something different. So, who am I? My name is Hannah Rosenthal. I own a company here called Teaching Together. I worked in special education for about 10 years, and now what my company does is we're kind of twofold, but we really focus on the idea that collaboration is the best way to support the inclusion of all different learners in a classroom. So we focus a lot, we work in schools, we work on coaching teachers through co-teaching situations, through collaborating to support many different learners in their classrooms. But we also decided to think really broadly about what we do, and we realized because technology can be one of the most transformative things for a student, especially with special needs in their classroom, that we should probably also reach out to the technology community as well and work with those folks, you guys, a lot of you in the room, and we actually do work with some people in the room tonight. And we decided to also reach out to that community as well, because what we want to do is we want to make products and tools that kids actually want to use, that teachers want to use, and that they continue to use in order to transform their educational lives. And what is inclusion? I've been using that word a little bit. So inclusion is not necessarily, does not come from special education, but it is a term that has been adopted by special education. So, and it is not a placement, it's a philosophy. So it comes from the idea that a long time ago, before any sort of special education laws came around, that this is what education pretty much looked like. The able people were in the center, they were getting school, and then everyone else was kind of on the outside. It was kind of up to whatever the parents could do for the child, whatever their community had available, but it was not mandated that every child gets a free and appropriate public education. And then some special education laws came around and they said, actually, that's not fair. Every child deserves access to a free and appropriate education. And so they said, okay, but then they made up, you know, those special education classrooms that were kind of down the hall that a lot of us maybe grew up with. And then later on down the road, they said, you know what, that's not really fair. We're gonna start mainstreaming students with special needs. So what that means is that they would plop some students who needed something different. They had different goals, they had different needs, they had different ways of accessing their environment and learning. But they were kind of plopped inside a classroom, and they weren't necessarily supported. And actually, a lot of times, we still see this a lot today. This can mean that students with special needs are put into a classroom, but then maybe that they are learning in a special group in the back, or a special education teacher comes in, pushes in, but it still feels very exclusive. And our goal is that if we are gonna have lots of different learners together, then we want it to look like that. We want people to walk into a classroom and not know who the special education teacher is, not know who the special education student is. All we're seeing is just a group of learners. And I think we can all agree that we all learn differently. And this also fits really nicely with the idea that special education is not a place. It's a continuum of the delivery of services based on a student's needs. So that means that yes, some students, depending on what they need, might need a special classroom or a special school that's designed to meet their needs. However, a lot of students are going to fall somewhere right in the middle with in-class supports. And some of those supports can be technology and specially designed instruction. Which is what brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So I know it's called an app showcase, but it was kind of had a surprise spin, which is that if technology can be one of the most transformative tools for a student with special needs, that is right here, falling right in the middle. And if we can all agree tonight that there is not one mythical, typical learner. I think that a lot of classrooms kind of understand that now, a lot of teachers can kind of understand that now too. But if we can all understand the idea that there is not one typical learner, no matter who you are in a classroom, you're gonna learn differently, you have different experiences, your brain works differently, you make different connections. And so no matter where you are, or who you are, you're gonna learn differently. And so the idea that inclusion is just for special education students is also a myth. Inclusion is actually good for every student. So it's kind of like a call to action tonight, and I wanted to show you some apps and some tools that I think really support this idea of inclusion. And I also wanted us to all start to, first of all, feel empowered that we are also, if we're designing good tech for education, we're designing good technology for special education. And I have to say, all of the startups that we saw tonight definitely fit that mold as well. So what can you do about it? Well, the thing is that you cannot predict all the very specific needs that are going to be in classrooms. Also, that's not really appropriate. This is just a cartoon. She's like, so what do you want to be called? Handicapped, disabled, physically challenged? And he's like, Joe. That'd be fine. You want to just think he's a person, right? He's not labeled by his disability. And so what you can do, and it's not appropriate to try to predict what can you expect in a classroom. Instead, you should just expect everything. And that's called universal design. And this is a cartoon that I use a lot with teachers actually to explain what universal design is. And if you'll just notice it, it's a janitor, and we live in Austin, so this isn't so applicable. However, the janitor's shoveling some stairs, and he says, yeah, just wait, kid, in the wheelchair. You can come up after I finish shoveling the stairs for all the other kids. And the kid says, actually, if you just shovel the ramp, we can all get in. So that's the idea of universal design. Universal design is not originally an education concept. It actually comes from architecture. And it actually came from, in World War II, veterans came back and they couldn't access buildings that they could previously. And so that's when we started to see a lot of retrofits, a lot of ramps being added on and things like that. So they could still access buildings that they used to. However, what's wrong with retrofitting? It's ugly, it's wonky, it's an afterthought. It's not designed for everybody in mind. And it can be costly, and usually people don't really use them. We don't really use these unless we have to. And so the same thing can go with the design in our classrooms. If we're designing our classrooms, our instruction, the technology we're using in our classroom, if we're designing that not for the whole wide range of learners, we're going to have to start retrofitting. And that's when we might see abandonment. We might see that isolation that we talked about earlier. You know, kids just off in the corner with an iPad in front of them, but they're not really engaging. Digital babysitters, I see that a lot. This is just another example of universal design in architecture. And then I want to show you a quick example of universal design in education. This is a video from Region 13.
An A to Z chart is a very simple graphic organizer that is organized by creating 26 small squares, and the squares are labeled by the letters of the alphabet. I can use the A to Z chart as a pre-assessment or an anticipatory set. So I'm asking them to think of information they already know about that topic and put that information in alphabetical form. So what are things that you think of having to do with that concept that begin with the letter A, B, C, D, and so on through the alphabet? We are creating a list that next week you'll choose from, select from, and deciding what you're doing your country project on, which elements of culture.
I already got one for L, language. I already got one for R, religion. Oh, I got one for C, clothes.
The A to Z chart allows learning to happen by stimulating thinking around a concept and having some kind of organizational tool to stimulate thinking so that students are familiar with the alphabet. And I don't need to teach them the alphabet, and it's very easy to create. Either I create it or they can create it on their own. So it's not complicated, not a lot of instructions are needed. We can get right to using it immediately.
So that kid is the man. I think he got really excited, and I think we want all of our kids to be that excited about what they're learning. No, we don't want to be at slide 17. Sorry, guys. Okay, so that was just a quick example of what UDL can look like in a classroom. It's super simple. That was an elementary school classroom. It was a graphic organizer. We've seen those things before. However, it was so simple, but it's beautiful because every single kid can access that. It was based on something that it had a starting point that everyone could get to, and then depending on how much background knowledge a student had, they could take it wherever they wanted to from there. So that's the very simplest nugget that I can give you of what UDL is in a classroom. And so another video that I want to show you is UDL at a glance, talking about what are the three main tenets of what UDL is. There are centers for universal design. This is a huge thing in the special education world. So it's a very quick video to watch. Well, I don't know, or maybe I have to find it now, which is Okay. So what it really talks about is there are 3 ways that we can kind of rethink our design about our technology, about our curriculum, about even the way that we're setting up our classrooms. And that's through representation, action, and expression, and engagement. The 3 different ways that we kind of interact in our classrooms on a daily basis. So changing the way that we present our material, changing the way that our students interact with the material, and then changing the way our students show what they know. So what I want you to do is, I really want to pull up this video for you guys. So let me just find that for you on YouTube.
This teacher needs to meet a curriculum goal, and she's got a very diverse group of students. And so does this teacher. And this one. Most do. In fact, research shows that the way people learn is as unique as their fingerprints. What does this mean for teachers of today? Classrooms are highly diverse, and curriculum needs to be designed from the start to meet this diversity. Universal design for learning is an approach to curriculum that minimizes barriers and maximizes learning for all students. Whoa, that's a fancy term. Universal design for learning. Let's unpack it a bit. Let's think about the word universal. By universal, we mean curriculum that can be used and understood by everyone. Each learner in the classroom brings her own background, strengths, needs, and interests. Curriculum should provide genuine learning opportunities for each and every student. Now let's think about the word learning. Learning is not one thing. Neuroscience tells us that our brains have 3 broad networks. One for recognition, the what of learning, one for skills and strategies, the how of learning, and one for caring and prioritizing, the why of learning. Students need to gain knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm for learning, and a curriculum needs to help them do all 3. But every learner is unique, and one size does not fit all. So how do we make a curriculum?
Let's pause right there, because apparently I'm running out of time. And so, just to kind of get to the point, is what I really wanted you to walk out with tonight. And I want to quickly show you, because this is supposed to be an app showcase, is what I really want us to get at is I think we could all walk out knowing how we could make this classroom using universal design more engaging. You know, we could definitely fix their desks, we could take away their papers, make them do something better. But what I'm really concerned about as a teacher is what's on the right. And this is a graphic, this is from Education Week, and this shows that the skills that are targeted, the majority of the skills targeted in apps designed for literacy are still at that very basic level. We're still just learning about letters and sounds and phonics with word recognition. So I don't know if you saw, but I was freaking out when Book Around presented, because for the first time, I'm like, wow, that is actually something that's targeting these higher level skills. And by actually targeting those higher level skills, you're actually using universal design, because you're going big from the beginning, and then you're going to scaffold it, as you said, to get the kids where they need to be. So that's what I want us to just kind of walk out thinking about. And just to show you some apps, by the way, this is also, my slides are public, and you can get them. These are accessibility guidelines as well that you can use when, we'll talk more about this in a minute. But these are just some other apps that I just wanted to showcase for a second that actually employ these designs in a really nice way. So the first one that I want to show you, this is BrainPop, and I'm sure a lot of us have heard of BrainPop before. But here's just like one very simple thing that BrainPop does that employs an idea of universal design. So in BrainPop, These are educational videos that kids watch on lots of different topics. And so what it does is it represents things visually. But something that you'll see here is that when
what you know or see to make a reasonable guess about an amount. How do you round to the nearest 10?
When the question comes up, the pause button turns red. And so that's a universal design concept because the question is really important and it's being written out. And so it's designed to actually, without words, it's just a visual signal that's showing, stop, this is what I want you to think about. That's good for kids because they know, hey, that's a visual cue. This is something that's really important. And then it's also good for the teacher because when the teacher's using this, they also know, you know what, that's a reminder, I need to stop. Something else that I wanted to show you was, this is a video, I'll just talk through these actually. GoNoodle is another app that I love. GoNoodle is, and the reason why I love it, it's actually a web-based program, subscription-based, it's free, and it's not academic at all. It's an entire library of body breaks. And they can be from little kids all the way to big kids, dance moves, yoga, breathing exercises, things like that. That's universal design because it's understanding the child holistically, that kids need to move. They're in school, they're learning, all this research shows that, we can't just be sitting at our desk the whole time, we need to be up and moving. Peppy Pals is a great app because again, it doesn't use words at all. And it's also completely non-academic. It just talks about social skills with kids without even using words. Kids go into this friendly environment. It's for little ones. However, children on the autism spectrum can use this as well because it doesn't rely on verbal communication to teach into some really important skills. Famigo is a great thing because it provides a completely distraction-free environment. So that's universal design. One of the tenets is to take away distractions. Wizimo is a great app because it taps into something that teachers have been doing for a really long time. The same thing with Montessorium. We love anything that comes out of Montessorium for the same reason, is that it taps into, all the apps that come out of here are based on pedagogy that's been proven to really work. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, they went back to pedagogy that really works and then just made it easier and more accessible. And so as we end tonight, I know I have to wrap up. I just really want us to think for a second, and maybe as we transition, if you have a device tonight, what you can do is you can access this link. If you type that in, you can type it into your phone, your laptop, or your computer, and it's kind of like interactive white chart paper or whiteboard. And I just want you to just jot down some closing thoughts. Here are some prompts. You can think about what are the next steps for EdTech. Just thinking about this, how can we boost the prevalence of UDL and accessibility principles? How can we promote inclusion in schools through technology? How can we start rethinking about how can we start to reimagine technology's role in education? And how can we also start to reimagine technology in the lives of actually students in special education? And then we can just end there. Thank you.
We can find you all these links and stuff at Teaching Together.
Yeah,
So
you can find all this here. Yeah.
So what's the website to go to?
TeachingTogetherTexas.com.
Teaching2gethertexas.com. You can find all of the links and all of the information that we just shared here, all those great apps. So thank you very much.
And then maybe if you guys are interacting right now on this Bitly, on this, it's actually a Padlet, but I made it shorter. If you guys are interacting on that now, maybe we can come back to it towards the end of the night and we can kind of display your thoughts.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate your presentation and little learning experience for us all. So we're going to get our last final presenter for the night, and then we'll run into our lightning round, and we do have some time for some networking at the very end. So if Pen Pal Schools would come on up and join us. Pen Pal Schools is one of the newest additions to Austin, one of our very proud EdTech Action members, and so we're glad to have them here in Austin. They have an amazing product, and if you're a teacher, you're going to want to pay attention and hear all about this. because it's a really cool thing and it really is a great connector, and that's what we're all about. So I'm going to turn this over to Joe, and he's going to tell you a little about Pen Pal Schools.
Okay. You guys can sit down or stand up or whatever. I still say you guys. I'm getting the y'all down. I just moved down here, so give me a couple weeks. How many of y'all are teachers? I think you may have done this before I got here, but hands a little higher, please. Okay, great. Always good to talk to teachers. Please come find me afterwards if you're interested in this, or if you're not, to tell me why. I love to talk to teachers. I wish there were more of them around here more often. Hannah's actually working with us to get more teacher insights into what we're doing, and she's fantastic. The stuff that they're doing around accessibility and universal accessibility is huge to what we're doing, and so we're happy to have them on board. I'd recommend them to anyone working in EdTech here at Capital Factory to get their insights. So I'm going to play a video just to give you a brief intro of who we are and what we do, and then I'll pick it up from there.
This is a true story about Brendan, a 16-year-old in New Jersey, and Monir, a 17-year-old in Kabul. They're real teenagers who used Pen Pal News, an online platform where students around the world read, share, and discuss issues happening where they live. Monir read an article about a NATO helicopter that was attacked outside of Kabul and wrote about it to Brendan. Just a part of Monir and Brendan's conversation, and it's just one of the many connections already happening on Pen Pal News. Help spread the word and learn more about how Pen Pal News can be used by students in a classroom near you.
Apologies for the T video. We'll have to get that fixed up here. How many of you have ever had a pen pal, when you were a kid or growing up? Anyone here have a pen pal? Okay, so a decent number of people, and many of you, if you have kids, you might have kids that have pen pals now. So one thing we know about pen pals is that they're pretty popular. People really like them. Let me pull up something else so you can have some visuals, so it's not just me talking the whole time. Hold on one second. Yeah, it'll only take me a second. That was pretty painless, good. So, why are pen pals so popular? And they've been going on for decades because teachers think about doing pen pals, and they think about the cultural exchange, and they think about exposing their students to different cultures and different ways of looking at the world, and they think, this is what my class is going to be like. It's going to be really fun. And for the most part, they're right. I mean, pen pals are a fantastic way to connect your students to someone abroad. A lot of things haven't changed and haven't really needed to change. We've gone from pen and paper to emails and other forms of communication, but the spirit remains the same. Expose your kids to students somewhere else in the world and get them a fantastic experience. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that. I've talked with many, many teachers over the last few years who tell me that their pen pal exchanges broke down. And there's really two main reasons for this. One is logistics. If you're a teacher managing 30, 40 kids, and they've got 30, 40 different exchanges going on with their pen pals, that's going to be a pain. Even if it's email instead of paper and pen, just to manage all of those exchanges going on can be logistically very difficult for teachers who we know are quite busy people. The second issue is even if you jump through all of those hurdles and all the logistics, after the first conversation, the first letters exchange, a lot of times the students run out of stuff to talk about. They know how many brothers and sisters they have, they know what the weather's like in Kenya, and then, okay, where do we go from here? And so teachers don't have time for that. You guys are under a lot of pressure to teach to standards, to teach content, to make sure kids are learning the skills they need when they graduate, and so they fizzle out because of that. So we talked over and over with teachers who are just frustrated with these pen pal exchanges, and instead of feeling like this at the end of the day, they feel a little more like Mrs. Problem. So Pen Pal Schools is changing that, and we have a great app that makes everything really easy, solve all the logistical problems, match you with pen pals around the world. And we've got really high quality content that's aligned to Common Core and TEAC standards for reading comprehension, for critical thinking, also for language learning. We've just got some really great curriculum with original content and videos, and people really like it. So basically, we've got our app, and the process works. We'll match the teacher with a partner teacher somewhere around the world. We provide that innovative content, videos, real news stories, other accessible stuff that's aligned to all different grade levels and abilities. And then we connect students to talk about it on our app. And it's really easy for teachers to manage this, and it's really fun for the students. We're not trying to change how you do things in the classroom. Keep doing what you're doing. This is a great tool that you can spend 45 minutes a week on, and students love it, and teachers really get a whole lot out of it. Got some videos I can show in terms of our original curriculum, but considering the glitchiness of things going on up here, I'm gonna skip that. And if we have extra time at the end, I can show you, but really cool animated videos on our global issues. 2 minutes, I can wrap it up. We're exploding really quickly. We've got close to 40,000 students now in 35 countries, and we've only been going for a couple of years. So we started with a handful of teachers. And we didn't grow to this number by making, enterprise sales at the district level and, cramming this down teachers' throats. Pretty much every one of these is from word of mouth from teachers telling teachers. They do it, they love it, they tell another teacher. So our retention rate's up close to 90%. Teachers do it and come back. And our referral rate's up around 76%, just from teachers telling other teachers. So we're growing really quickly. We're in all these countries and more around the world. Today we had sign up in Pakistan and a couple more in Kenya. So we could add a few more countries to this list already since I made this slide 2 days ago. And yeah, we also partner with tons of organizations that want to work with us because we are a social enterprise. We're a for-profit company, but our main goals are around promoting cultural awareness and literacy around the world. So not only are we providing this project, this service to connect students and get them to exchange perspectives, but the content, we have our global studies curriculum that the students learn about poverty and the environment, technology, and these important issues in really fun, innovative ways using engaging content like videos, and it's designed from the ground up to be interactive. And we also have our language learning courses for learning Spanish, French, and Chinese, and we'll partner your kids with native speakers in those places that are learning English. So we're matching classes here in Texas with a class in Ecuador to learn Spanish, and those kids in Ecuador are learning English, and they help each other learn, and it's really fantastic to see not only how they help each other learn their languages, but the cultural exchanges that they have in discussing their lives and the perspectives that they have. So I know we're running out of time. I've got some brochures here with me to give more information. We're running out because I left them in the lobby this morning and a bunch of people took them, which is, I guess, good. That's what we bought them for. But if you want a brochure, just come up and see me, and you're going to have to say hello to get a brochure. Or you can just tap me if I'm in conversation with one, and I'll hand it to you. So I'm new to Austin, just moved here a month ago. Please come be friendly, say hello. I'm thrilled to be here, and really want to work with as many teachers as possible to get your input on this. So thank you.
Thanks, Joe. That was wonderful. Again, penpalschools.com. So is it Pen Pal Schools? I know. Okay, penpalschools.com. So go there. If you're a teacher, sign up. If you're an investor, this is a hot company. So if you know investors, so get involved with Pen Pal Schools. If you're just interested in children, wonderful app. So thank you everyone for all the presentations tonight. We're going to do our lightning round now. So I don't know if there's anybody that wants to come up and be part of the lightning round. You got a little bit of time to pitch your thing, talk about what you want to talk about, get people involved with your cause, see if you can get anything. So we have any lightning round takers? I know we didn't pass around the sheet tonight, so I'm hoping some people will come up and talk real quick. So lightning round number one.
Real quick, I'll share a couple PD opportunities for teachers. First up, we've got the Round Rock ISD Ninja Academy coming up. If you're looking to learn more about how to use Google in the classroom, that's October the 18th. I think it's pretty decently priced as well for a professional development opportunity at like $50, $60 for the weekend. And I happen to know that the keynote, she's from Dallas. Her name is Refrans Davis, and she's fantastic. So come on up to Round Rock if you feel so inclined. The other opportunity that I'd like to share with you is EdCamp Austin. The website for EdCamp is edcampatx.org. It's free. It's an unconference. You come to Murchison High School on November the 15th. What did I say? High school? Okay, middle school, Murchison Middle School on November the 15th, and you put down whatever idea or thing you want to learn about, and throughout the morning we put together a session board. If you'd love to lead a session, fantastic. If you're there just to learn, great. We bring in food trucks, and it's a free day of learning. Trying to think here. There are prizes involved at the very end of the day. So we have great local sponsors from the Thinkery. You could get like a family pass. You could win a couple Chromebooks or even some iPads. So again, EdCamp Austin is a completely unconference day of professional development that's for teachers, by teachers, and we really couldn't do it unless we had tons of teachers there. Last year, our very first one ever, we had about 400 educators from Central Texas. So I hope you'll join us. It's edcampatx.org. Anybody else?
Lightning round, folks. Lightning round.
Say something real quick. Hey, I'm Ryan. I'm the CEO of Edusync, which is an EdTech startup. And I'm always on the lookout for developers, people in education. If you are a curriculum facilitator, coordinator, anything like that, I'd love to meet with you and see how I can pick your brain to make our stuff cooler. And if you're a front-end, back-end mobile developer, I'd like to talk to you and just see if maybe we're a good fit for you to get into the EdTech space. We've got some cool stuff going on. Some guys working in the realm of AI, connection to Watson Group. Anyway, just find me afterwards. Thanks.
If you're interested in this product, Teacher Cal, also see Ryan afterwards or go to edusync.com and you can check it out. Anybody else want to announcements, news, pitches?
So another quick PD opportunity for computer science coding put on by Code.org affiliates is going on for their new K-5 curriculum that just launched last week. So you can go to the Code.org website. I think it's /K5 will take you directly to the page, but there's a link on the homepage. There's PD going on all across the country. A couple of days here in Austin is this coming Saturday, September 27th, and then next month, October 25th. And there'll be more rolling out after this as well. So if you're looking to integrate computer science into your elementary school curriculum, Code's got a brand new curriculum with online and offline learning opportunities, so come check it out.
Anyone else want to pitch anything? Coming up. I'm gonna pull a lightning rounder here myself. So I do encourage you, if you're part of a startup, so our greatest, I think one of the greatest things to happen to EdTech and education in Austin is South by Southwest EDU coming up in March. If you're part of a startup or you know someone who's a great startup who has launched an early stage startup company in the education market, you're incorporated, having a management team, you're able to convey a sustainable business model and demonstrate user traction and engagement, and you're passionate about helping students, then I highly encourage you to apply for the Launch EDU competition. South by Southwest EDU is a partner of EdTech Action, and it's an amazing event. We're hoping to keep that type of momentum that happens. If you've been a part of that event, you know it's just amazing. It's like crazy education, just total geek out on education for a whole week, and it's just awesome, and we want to keep that going year round. So that's what we're partnering with them. So I encourage you to, if you want to find out more about Launch EDU, I'm on the Launch EDU advisory board. I'd be happy to sort of talk to you more about it and how you apply and how you get involved with that. But I very much encourage you to do that as well. So any other announcements, news, anything else? Awesome. I'll give it one, going once. Don't be shy. Say anything, we just say hello. All right, so wonderful. Thank you all for being here tonight. Again, thank you for being part of EdTech Austin. If you're not a member of EdTech Austin, you need to sign up. If you know people, if you have teachers, if you're part of schools, get all of your friends and colleagues to sign up. Okay, we're at 900 members. I think that puts us about 300 away from overtaking the New York EdTech group, and so I'd love to sort of put them in the ground. We're a little further away from San Francisco. They claim the whole Silicon Valley and have EdSurge behind them and stuff, so they're like up over 2,000. But we'll get them too, and we will be the #1 in the world, and we'll make Austin the center of all EdTech on the planet. I'm really excited about that. So thanks for being here. Stick around. We've got the room until 9 o'clock, so network, meet people, have another drink or something, and I appreciate everything that y'all do, and thanks for coming tonight. We'll see you all on October 22nd, right back here for access and engagement to computer science education in Texas, so thank you.